Let's try again. Good morning and welcome. Welcome. I'm Erin, one of the Sunday Service Associates here at the Unitarian Society of Ridgewood. Welcome to friends old and new, and welcome to all of you joining us on Zoom. If you are indeed new, we invite you to fill out a green sheet here in person today, or to fill out the online form that will be dropped in the chat shortly. Please take a moment to silence your devices. Again, welcome.
And I'm gonna pop up for 1 second because I want to do an introduction this morning. Ray, if you'll stand up and wave to everyone. Ray is our relatively newly hired PR and social media intern who will be working 5 hours a week for us. Ray is a student at Union Theological Seminary, is here today, won't always be here on Sundays, but make a moment to go introduce yourself, to chat. Specifically, I think you want to talk about the holiday market with folks, as we're trying to get the word out about our holiday market next weekend. So if you get a second, please find Ray and say good morning, introduce yourselves. I'll just go ahead and, okay, we're going to go into our gathering hymn, no, our opening hymn, whatever we call it, Hymn of November, the one that Ron and I wrote, and we're still learning it, and I promise we're going to get it. Please rise and body your spirit. Ron will take us through.
Okay, so I will do part one, I will play it, and you will repeat it with me. Then part two, I will play it, you will repeat it with me. Part three, I will play it, you will repeat it with me, and then we will try it twice through together. Coraggio. Another chance. 1, 2, ready, go.
now, please join in the words for our unison affirmation, followed by our chalice lighting. We are question askers, truth seekers, and justice makers who choose to journey side by side as one congregation in our lifelong becoming. Together, grounded in love, we listen to each other's stories and share the meaning of our lives. We care for one another and create a community that celebrates all. And we work with hope to foster wholeness in ourselves, each other, and this world. Please join in the words for lighting the chalice. We light this chalice for the hope of truth, the warmth of love, and the energy of action as we gather together in the circle of community.
I can do it, I promise. Whew. Now I'll ask you to take a breath. Maybe shake it out for a second. Take another breath and listen. You can listen with your ears, but also listen with your heart and your soul. Listen for the sounds of life that are all around you, and listen for the sounds of life that are deep within. When we can listen with our whole selves, we can hear with our whole selves. We can begin to become our whole selves. Listen as the sound of the bowl calls you to your own truest living and to celebrating one another. Breathe and listen. On Sunday mornings and throughout the week, we come together as many individuals, creating one community, one gathering, one body. I'm going to ask Jack if you can start our. Some of you may have seen these before. Starlings and some other birds perform a behavior called a murmuration. A very fun word to say. You are watching a murmuration. Murmuration. A murmuration, yep. Uncountable numbers of birds begin to fly together, a big flock, moving all together, creating shapes and waves against the sky. These little creatures create something much larger than they are themselves. And in so doing, scientists theorize they're able to share information with each other, they're able to protect one another, they're able to warm one another up, they're able to gather in other birds in the area so that no one roosts alone. In short, as best as we understand this phenomenon, they come together to keep one another alive. Now, they don't have to participate. A murmuration is voluntary, and there's no leader. Each bird, this is what we know about it, is that each bird is responding to the 6 or 7 birds around it, right? So no one is made to stay on the outside too long. They weave in and out among each other, responding to those nearest birds. It's less a choreographed unison dance and more wave after wave of mutual response. We call it a murmuration because the beating of their wings creates a low murmur sort of hum. A murmuration is for these birds life-saving, beautiful, and this is important. It is not conformity, it is community. And that is what we do. It is not conformity, it is community. We come together to create something stronger and larger than we are alone. We protect one another, we protect the vulnerable, we invite everyone to join in. We honor and celebrate our unique beings, and we know that to survive, we need one another. Our interdependence means we depend on one another. And so our doors are open to all who would join our murmuration, a flock of individuals committed to interdependent self-determination. I am so very glad to be in this murmuration with you. Please rise and body your spirit. We're going to sing our next hymn. As we do, on like the second verse or so, the children will head down to religious education. Rebecca, there you are. Rebecca will lead them. If you all want to gather with Rebecca over here, and then you'll head downstairs, please rise and body your spirit. We're doing number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire.
first reading this morning is a poem by Roque Sala Rivera, whose pronouns are he, they. Rivera is from Puerto Rico and was named 2018's Poet Laureate of Philadelphia. They have written numerous volumes of poetry, have a doctorate from the University of Pennsylvania, and live and work in Puerto Rico. This morning's poem is titled, If Time is Queer and Memory is Trans, and My Hands Hurt in the Cold, then. There are ways to hold pain like night follows day, not knowing how tomorrow went down. It hurts like never when the always is now, the now that time won't allow. There is no manner of tomorrow, nor shape of today, only like always having to leave from and toward the futures could be, in order to never more see the sea. And if forever proves me wrong, it'll hurt with the hurt of before the before. It'll have to take me along, all the never enough of why and therefore. Life has given me much to believe, but more is the doubt that undid what I know. For, like night follows day, the pleasure is sure of forever beginning once more.
There are ways to hold pain like night follows day, not knowing how tomorrow went down. The poem that Erin just read for us, while challenging as it expresses such movement through time and reality, speaks to our not knowing what will be. It speaks to the idea that life is full of doubt. It speaks to an understanding that each day brings a chance to start once more. The poem does not shy away from the pain that change and time bring. It acknowledges these, and also the pleasure, night and day, belief and doubt, pleasure and pain beginning again. We are in a moment that feels as if we might need to begin again because we might be about to fall backwards, or perhaps more properly be pushed backwards. Come January, the political power in this country will rest with folks who do not believe in the rights of LGBTQ folks. And there is fear about what action might be taken against our beloved siblings, fear about the hate and violence that has been empowered. Now that acronym, LGBTQ, we use it a lot without always taking the time to define it. It stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, and it brings together under one umbrella both folks whose sexual attraction falls outside the presumed normal, so folks attracted to the same gender or folks attracted to all genders, and also folks whose gender is not what was assigned to them at birth. So folks who identify as non-binary or gender fluid, or who know themselves to be the opposite gender than they were assigned at birth. And I have used quotes very intentionally on normal and opposite, because those terms aren't really right. There is nothing abnormal about being attracted to someone of the same gender or being attracted to folks of varying genders. There is nothing by definition opposite about men and women, but rather there is a wide variety of biological, social, and physiological expressions of gender. We learn about XX and XY chromosomes in school, but there are actually many more configurations that can occur. And many of us were taught that genitalia determines gender, but there are so many other factors, including the development of the brain in gestation. Gender has never been either this or that. There have always been variations. There is plenty of evidence that there have been people who lived between genders or whose gender assigned at birth was inconsistent with their true self throughout history and across the world. Many Indigenous groups have had terms like two-spirit that refer to folks who live outside the binary of male and female. Often these folks were not actually ostracized, but honored for their existence. The patriarchal Christian system of the West, under which we live and suffer, worked to stigmatize these variations and to push us all into clear gendered boxes. Boxes that have systematically attempted to prevent us from each being who we are and living as we want to live. And there has been such a great cost to the rigid binary our culture has imposed for so long, a cost to trans folks, of course, who have suffered by having to remain in expressions of identity that are not who they are, or who have suffered oppression and violence, who have been denied their wholeness. And there has been a cost to all of us, because when any of us are denied our wholeness, our self-determination, our freedom, then all of us suffer. And so what a tragedy it would be to backslide into a world of rigidity after these more recent years of increasing gender identity freedom. We have had more years of increasing gender identity freedom. And yet it is also important to recognize that even as we have witnessed change and increasing acceptance in certain parts of our country and culture, even still, transgender folks have been the victims of injustice, the victims of prejudice, the victims of violence, all simply for becoming themselves, living as themselves, knowing who they are. Since 1999, November 20th has been the Transgender Day of Remembrance. It's a day that honors transgender people and remembers specifically those who have died in the past year due to acts of transphobic violence. Today, we're going to observe this commemoration together. In a moment, we're going to play a video for you created by our Unitarian Universalist Association. It lists the names of folks who've died over this past year due to violence against transgender folks. The video also reminds us all of our shared beliefs about the value of diversity and the inherent worth and dignity of all people of all genders. So as we come into this time of watching this video together, I invite you to adopt the kind of positioning we do when we come into our meditation and prayer time. So I'm going to ask you to find as comfortable a position as you can for your unique body and to take a breath in. Take a minute to center yourself, ground yourself in this moment. That might mean putting your feet solidly on the floor, maybe rolling your shoulders back, wiggling your body a little if you need to, taking a few more deep breaths in. And I'll invite you to remember that we are here for one another. This is a community that can hold grief and sorrow together and recommit to a vision of a shared future. So breathe, and we'll watch together.
Hi, my name is Reverend Jamie Andel. My pronouns are they and them. I work for our Unitarian Universalist Association as your transgender support specialist. Unitarian Universalism is an expansive and rich religious tradition. You embrace transgender, non-binary, intersex, and all genderful people. Trans people have always existed, and we will continue to do so. But right now is an especially vulnerable and tender time for our community. So a few friends and I got together to create a video with messages of affirmation and love for this year's Transgender Day of Remembrance. Please take a few minutes to relax yourself and forget about the problems and worry happening in the world. Hear the care and adoration and love that surrounds you now and always. We honor our trans kin who have died this year. May we learn to love so fiercely and so strongly that we no longer have to have a Transgender Day of Remembrance in our lifetime. May we instead live to see a day when we're fully liberated and free.
Trans people are sacred.
Are sacred.
Are sacred.
Trans people are sacred.
Trans people are sacred.
Y'all, trans people are a blessing.
We are blessed and a blessing because we exist, and thank God for that.
We are blessed and a blessing because we are created in the divine image.
Because you are the very image of the divine.
Because you are a unique and wondrous being, radiating a true spark of the divine.
Because you are holy and whole.
We are blessed and a blessing because we define who we are.
Because you are whole and full, just as you are.
You know who you are, and you choose yourself over and over again.
You are the embodiment of courage.
We are blessed and a blessing because we illuminate the myriad possibilities that exist in our natural world.
The way you live your truth shows us the power and the possibility that exist outside of the small, cramped spaces we have burrowed.
Because you are the prophets of the possible. You are showing us that gender is not a binary or even a spectrum, but a galaxy of infinite incarnations waiting to be explored.
You are a testament to the beauty of human diversity and the power of human spirit.
We are made from hope, from love, from stardust, from our ancestors' wildest dreams.
Your birth was a gift to this world, and your ways of being and becoming are as well.
Trans people are sacred. We are blessed and a blessing because we courageously ask the hard questions of how we embody and express ourselves, which becomes transmuted into a sweet, sweet balm.
You are blessed and a blessing because you teach us all to listen to the song of our deepest selves, that soaring melody of possibility and resonance that yearns to be sung as a hymn of praise in harmony with the universe itself.
And we are blessed and we are a blessing because we understand resilience. We are full of love, joy, and fight. And we know the importance of building and creating and strengthening our communities.
You are blessed and a blessing because you complete the community. You make life and community richer and whole.
Trans people are sacred. We are blessed and we are a blessing because authenticity is our superpower and community our liberation. Our existence helps to grow and transform the world.
Because you show us what the courage to live a full and authentic life looks like.
We are blessed and are a blessing as we embody a living transformation. We are liberated from the flimsy, easy ideas about gender and bodies, and our very presence in this world offers up a living permission to others to lean into the deepest aspirations of their own hearts and to follow their dreams.
Because our very existence is a radical act of love.
Because, just because, no reason needed. We exist. We are here. We are enough.
Trans people are sacred. We are blessed and a blessing because the sacred moves in us and we respond, compelled. Trans people are blessed and a blessing because we commit to authenticity and justice, not simply for ourselves, but our community and the whole world.
We value the you that you are and all you add to our world.
I love you.
I love you. Trans people are holy, are sacred. Y'all are fabulous and loved, loved, loved.
You are so very loved. You are divine.
I'm sending you so much love today and always.
I love you. I love us.
Bless you, and may you continue to bless the world.
Bless you, and may you continue to bless the world. I'll invite you to breathe and to breathe again. In a world that threatens the existence of so many of our beloveds, We commit ourselves again in this moment to seeing the blessing in all the magnificent variations possible in these human forms of ours. We commit ourselves again in this moment to understanding that each of us is beautiful, each in our own way, and that our very being adds joy to the world. We commit ourselves again in this moment to reminding the world that our wholeness, each other's wholeness, is not to be feared, but to be celebrated and rejoiced in. We're going to sing a hymn of affirmation. I'm going to invite you to remain seated. We're going to actually sing it through 4 times. The first time, I just want you to relax into the words. The second time, you're going to sing them to yourself. The third time, you're going to sing them to each other. And then finally, we will sing them out into the wide world. Anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you are connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you are connected to my soul. Anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you are connected to my soul. You are beautiful, you are sacred, your becoming and your wholeness is a gift to the world. May you never forget that. So may it be. Before we go to our second reading, I feel like we could sing that song for an entire hour one morning, just as like a I don't know, sorry, I was very moved by it today as always, but it really is, and I feel like it has the potential to change the world actually, if people really internalized it. Sorry, thank you. Our second reading is actually a poetry film, On Being, the radio show turned podcast, put together a handful of these. And this one is titled A Letter to My Body, and it's by Joy Layden, who is a trans woman and professor. So please.
Philosophers shilly-shally, but it's true. You are me, I am you. This dust, these rays, this strange internal sense that after all these years I finally exist. All of this is only mine through you. You still seem surprised. That's part of your charm. But I wish to be extracted from your handsome bindings. This, you say, is only the beginning, which is why it feels like drowning in what we've both survived. Ever the politician, I say I'll be your widow, smiling cheerfully as you die. Not yet, you say, as though this is the other part of your charm. You still believe in time. Violent laughter, yours and mine. Let's go out into the woods of meaning and matter, among the laurels and the mustard, the unlit suns and unnamed branches, listening shoots and loosening leaves we only appreciate when we're drowning in one another. Let's break up before we meet and fall in love again in the darkening parlor of the heart. Let's wait for God in the gathering dusk and watch the stars come out.
In 1970, at the General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association, that's our annual gathering of Unitarian Universalist congregations, we passed a resolution to end discrimination against homosexuals and bisexuals. By 1975, the UUA had created, funded, and staffed an Office of Gay Concerns, it was called at the time. By 1979, the first time in 1979, it was the first time that an openly gay male was called to serve as minister of a UU congregation. It was a congregation in Maine. Throughout the 80s and 90s, UUs on the local and national level worked for marriage equality, pushed for an end to discrimination, created programming designed to educate and train congregants in welcoming and celebrating members of the LGBTQ community. In 1996, the Office of Gay Concerns was renamed the Office of Bisexual, Gay, Lesbian, and Transgender Concerns to highlight our commitment to expanding that welcome and celebration intentionally to trans folks. In 2002, the first out transgender minister was called to serve a parish in Utah. And in 2007, at GA, a resolution was passed affirming transgender individuals and their identity, encouraging congregations to live this affirmation through education, employment practices, congregational behaviors, and public witness. I'm so sorry. By 2012, the UUA office responsible for furthering our efforts at justice and equity for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender folks was renamed the LGBTQ Ministries. So, that is all to say that for over 50 years, our Unitarian Universalist forebears and we have worked for equality, for justice, for love, for celebration for our LGBTQ siblings. We have done this. Thank you, Jan. Thank you. We have done this. This is our political and social and religious stance because we believe in people's right to self-determination. We believe that each person knows themselves better than we can, and that they have a right to tell us who they are. We believe that each person has the right to dress how they want, identify how they want, love how they want, to become who they know themselves to be inside, not only inwardly, but outwardly. And we come by these beliefs and this stance honestly. The core heresy that split the Universalists from other Christians over 200 years ago was the belief that all people would be saved. Not a single one, no matter what they did or how they lived, would be condemned by an all-loving, all-powerful God who was capable of restoring everyone to goodness. And the core heresy that split the Unitarians from other Christians nearly 200 years ago was the belief that there was only one God, no Trinity, and that all of us, thus, are the children of one singular God parent, all of us equal and equally beloved. Though we have loosed ourselves from the dogmatic requirement to believe in any God, those early beliefs in a loving God who saves all and in our innate belovedness have led us over centuries toward a fundamental understanding of our human capacity and our human right to decide who we are. We inherit from the Enlightenment, from the Reformation, from the Transcendentalist movement, a real belief in individuality and choice, and also a belief that that personal choice has some limits. We don't believe that one person's right to self-determination means they can hurt someone else. And we believe, or better said, perhaps we know, that we are interdependent social animals, that we need one another to survive. From the days of hunter-gathering and subsistence farming, we need each other to survive. And all the technology in the world will not change that fact. Our self-determination will always exist within interdependent community. And yet there are those who would undermine our self-determination and undermine the wholeness of our communities. There are those who move through this world believing that trans folks are a threat, or that somehow trans folks diminish those of us who are cisgender, whose gender aligns with that assigned at birth. This fear is often born in religious beliefs, and more to the point, in the belief that somehow my beliefs about your self-determination matter more than your self-determination, right? That somehow it is my business what you choose to do. It's not my business, right? Because this imagined harm is just that, it is imagined. There is nothing about the existence of trans folks that threatens, harms, or injures anyone else. In fact, the existence of trans folks helps us all to expand our understanding of what it means to be human, to exercise self-determination, to be authentic, to listen to our deepest selves and become our deepest selves. And also, honestly, it's not the job of trans folks to teach us or help us. They deserve to just exist. They deserve to exist without needing to justify that existence. They deserve to know and feel the innate belovedness that we absolutely believe in. They deserve to be safe and sound and free, to experience justice and fulfillment and joy, just as we all deserve. And our lives are too short to go around policing each other in this way, policing each other's harmless choices. Our lives are too short to prevent one another from becoming whole, from being fulfilled, from feeling aligned in every part of our being. Our lives are too short not to celebrate every moment we can with each other as authentically and fully as we each can be. Our Unitarian Universalist faithful knowledge of our interdependence and our belovedness extends to every single human on earth, every single one, without fail. That is foundational to our Unitarian Universalism. And it is also foundational to our Unitarian Universalism that we commit ourselves to this, truly. Commit ourselves to the welcome and celebration of every person, fulfill our commitments to one another, especially to our LGBTQ siblings. Now, more than ever, we have to not just believe it inside these walls for an hour on Sunday, right? We have to, more than ever, believe and say and live and protest in all the ways we can out in the world, proclaiming it loud and clear that all people, whatever their gender, are beautiful and whole and holy. We have to work hard to keep things moving in the right direction, remembering those who have paved the way for liberating gender diversity and honoring their vision by continuing to pursue justice and freedom for all of us. That is what we are called to do. That is how we commemorate the Transgender Day of Remembrance, by coming out from this day recommitted to a world of diverse equality. Hetty?
Good morning. My name is Hetty Hirschman, and I'm on the Board of Trustees, and I'm also the person you speak to when you want to volunteer to help with coffee hour. Sharing our vision, we are stronger together. Together we can protect each other and create a world of love, peace, and joy. We have a mission here at this congregation to grow in mind and spirit, acting as a beacon for justice and love, transforming ourselves and the world. Our mission is to come together, each finding and becoming our best selves, and working as one to create the best possible world. This mission takes our commitment. There are many ways we can offer our time and our talents to grow as individuals and as a community. Please join the board directly after this service for our town hall meeting to discuss this congregation's future. It's very important. Childcare will be provided downstairs. We are doing a gift drive this holiday. Please take one of the cards from the tree in Fellowship Hall and return the gifts no later than December 8th. Please plan to attend our volunteer at the holiday market next weekend. This mission also takes our material contributions. This month, we're sharing the plate with the New Jersey Sanctuary Coalition. It's a nonprofit coalition of organizations that address the needs of political asylees and asylum seekers. Please give generously to support this vital work. And just to say a note that there was a memorial service yesterday for Fred Ayers. I think there were over 270 people here. There will be a Shiva that's at 11 Lane Court, Upper Montclair, New Jersey, this afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. If you have any questions, you can find me during this coffee hour. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
That second poem that was the video is titled A Letter to My Body, but in my head, I turned that into a love letter to my body. Somehow that's how I heard it. A desire to know and to embrace, to become and become again, an integrated whole mind and body, inside and outside, nothing separate, a unique flourishing of self. Every single person deserves to experience integration and wholeness in this way. And it does not diminish others when they do. It enhances our shared world. When we get to know and see the truth of who someone is, what a gift that is. And that love letter, as I hear it, it can be a call to community as well, right? For this community to be an integrated whole, inside and outside, no separation, a collection of individuals in chosen, beloved community. Starlings protect one another by joining together, by communicating and dancing on the wind and shielding one another from harm, taking turns on the edges, moving and weaving in response to one another. They survive together. We survive together. We survive together like a murmuration. So let us be a murmuration, encouraging each other's wholeness, each person's wholeness, while protecting each person's safety. Let our movements through the world signal an invitation of welcome to all. Let our responses to one another be a caretaking display of mutuality and compassion. And let our singing be a hum of love that resounds through space and time. So may it be. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn. It's 108. The words will be on the screen. I think we know this one. Please remain standing as we extinguish our chalice together. The words are on your screen. We extinguish the flame, but may the hope of truth, the warmth of love, and the energy of action burn bright in our hearts until we are together again. Normally, I would send you off, but I'm not going to do that because there's a town hall. So what I am going to do is give a little bit of instruction, which is folks with children, if you would like to stay for the town hall, your children will be in fellowship, which is down that hall, in childcare. We have some folks here to look after everybody. So they will be safe and sound if you'd like to stay for any part of that town hall. Other folks, coffee hour, as you can see, is right here. So you don't even need to leave this room. So please grab some food, grab some coffee, and then we will come back together in just a few minutes, but also go say hi to Ray while you have a couple of minutes now. Yes. Yes, and visitors are very welcome to stay for the town hall if you want to get a sense of the congregation and how it operates. Sorry.